Hi everyone. Welcome to week 114. Okay, so I have like a mix of things to tell you. First off, I want to start off with something that just okay. Yesterday, I walked in my room and like mind you, this week I've just had like the worst cramps of my life. And so like Tuesday I got like a splitting headache, and then at like 2 a.m. on Wednesday I like had to I was rolling around in my bed in pain and I had to go take Advil. And so I get home and I'm like exhausted and done, and I lay down in my bed for maybe 5 seconds and I eat a whole bar of dark chocolate and I'm watching like these this is really funny actually. I'm watching videos of like ASU, Arizona State noobs doing their little twisty thingy, because at my school dances people do that now and I've never seen it before, so I thought they were just twisting around and I was like, okay, that's fun. And then I realized, oh, this is what they're referencing, so I was like quite intrigued by it. And then I hear this loud buzzing and I'm like, what the fuck is that? A humongous wasp is in my room. And I'm like, and so I literally started screaming and freaking out, and my mom was so unhelpful, and so she's like, get out, get out. I'm like, you're so unhelpful, what the hell? And so then I leave and I go sit in my car because I was upset, and I went to go get myself some Chipotle, and then I came back, and then I came back and it was like still in my room and it was like right above my bed, and I was like, oh shit. And so I went and I slept in my brother's bed because he's not here right now. And then today I was like, I need to get this thing out of my room. And I didn't want to kill it. I really did not want to kill it. So I looked it up and it was like, if you spray it with soapy water, then it can't fly. And then you can just take it outside. Because I wanted to put a cup over it. I was so horrified. I was so scared of it. I don't know why. And I was trying so hard not to be. But I was like, honestly, I would rather have it not be able to fly at me, because if it flies at me, I'm gonna lose my shit. And I was like, I just can't. So I spray it, and like my mom's spraying it, and then it was like a whole 1.5 hour debacle. But anywho, it's dead now, and that was not my intention at all. And I feel really freaking bad about it actually. And it's like dead in my bed. Like, it's stuck in the crack of my bed. And it's not like, that sounds nasty, but it's not like by my head or anything. It's by like my legs. It's like, because the way my bed works is like there's like a crack between the mattress and the frame, and then in the frame there's like a double crack between the wood. It's like literally this big, and that's where it fell, because it was like up on my wall and it fell straight down in there, and it's like dead in there. And I want to give it a proper burial, but I cannot get it out of its freaking thing. And I honestly don't want to take it out. I'm scared of that thing and I don't want it to sting me. And I know I killed it. And it's highly unreasonable for me to be afraid of it stinging me. Because, I mean, I didn't kill it. My mom killed it, but I feel responsible. I feel really bad about that. I did not want it to die. And I like looked it up and it was like, wasps are meant for like slim, like they represent in Greek mythology slim-waisted women and like hard work and protection. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. Please get out of my room. And I thought it was building a nest, and that's what sent me over the edge. Like, there were tears, there was a bit of a freak attack. I did not have a panic attack, but I was upset enough to go hide in my mom's closet. And I was like, Mom, you need to get this shit out of my room. And it started flying all over the place. Like, don't come in. Do not come to my town. And I swear, if its friends are mad at me, I'm gonna be like, I don't know what you wanted me to do. Like, I was trying to get it out and it fucking died. I don't know. I don't know. Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. I can't deal with this right now. I feel so awful. Because, like, literally, my one job was to not kill it, and that's what I did. Okay. It's okay. Now it's like fucking dead in my bed. Oh, great. I don't know. And then I go up to my mom and I'm like, am I a bad person for killing it? She said no, but I don't know. I don't think I'm a bad person, but I think it could have been handled better. But like, it was right next to the vines on my wall. And so what would happen if I did it and it didn't go all the way and then it just flew at my face? Heck no. Because they can sting you more than once. No, 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 no. I'm not about to get my ass kicked by a wasp. No, thank you. And I literally... What an exhausting situation. Next, this is actually why I made the video, because I'm so upset about this. I'm so upset about this, and topics like this have upset me since the beginning of time, and they will never not upset me. I heard about the dog. I don't know how to pronounce its name. Its name starts with an O. Orfella, I want to say, from Brazil. And this group of awful, horrible people, teenage boys, killed it. I don't understand how anyone could ever do that to an innocent creature, to any creature ever, and it makes me so upset. Like, it makes me so upset. And I genuinely, like, I can't even come up with a better word for it other than just so sad for that poor creature. And it makes me upset that I feel sad and not just anger and rage, because I do feel that. The thing is, it's not productive for me to feel that and just sit with it. There's nothing for me to target it at. And then it's just going to end up being targeted at myself for not being able to do anything. So I physically cannot do that. But every single time I hear a story like this, all it makes me want to do is go into law, and not like law or policy making. And I have to be so honest, I would hate that job. But just to create more laws to stand up for animal cruelty. I also know the pipeline to animal cruelty comes from cruelty towards people, or just some people are just awful. But it comes from insensitivity, it comes from bullying, it comes from not being loved as a child, and it's really, really sad. It's really sad what must have happened to those people to make them do that. I physically don't think I can feel anything more than empathy towards them. Honestly, yeah. Whenever I am thousands and thousands of miles away from them, because I physically don't think I could face those people in person. That would be so upsetting to me. And I don't even think I can be upset. The thought of an animal who has only known living on the street and people being kind to it, and that happening, I can't. And the thought that this isn't the first time this has happened, and this is not the last time this has happened, and there are no consequences whatsoever for this behavior, that can't continue. People cannot keep on being raised to act like that. there needs to be a respect for the environment. There needs to be a respect for animals, because the fact that anyone could hear that and not think it's the most horrible thing on this earth, the fact that anyone can do that and still be able to live with themselves for another day, what happened to that animal? And I'm not gonna, like, I don't know what I get in trouble for. I also, like, I understand sometimes people just don't want to hear about something awful that happened. I also think it's so important to stand up against it and to get in trouble whenever you do things that are awful. And I'm not saying I don't know what a punishment for that should be, because all that says to me is that your awful doesn't even scratch the surface. That's horrifying. And the picture of the dog, it looks like the sweetest dog ever. And the fact that nobody was there to protect it, that breaks my heart. And I can't. The mistreatment of animals sends me to the moon and back, because we domesticated animals, we made them our friends, we made them dependent upon us to live another day. And the fact that we made those choices because we wanted to be their friends and we're not there for them. There's so many animals who have nobody there for them. That will never not upset me. That will never not make me want to cry and want to save every single animal on the planet. And that's like been a lifelong goal of mine, and that's something I want to do. I know I'm going to do that because it's so important to me. It's so important. And I think that it should be important to everyone. And I just want it, like, I'm not saying this to highlight how I feel. I'm saying this because I think it needs to be said, and I think it needs to be heard, that animals on the streets should not be a thing. They entirely should not be a thing. They were not born dependent upon humans. They were made that way. It's like what happened to pigeons. You can't domesticate something and then abandon it. That's like abandoning a child. They're defenseless. They can't help. They can't save themselves from a human being that, like, that has advanced technology and that has strength in probably in more intelligence than it. It can't outsmart you. It can't fight you off. It can't run. It can run, but it can't run faster than you can. Like, yes, animals can run quickly, but we have cars, we have bikes, we have ways to travel faster than any animal can. And the fact that you use that technology that could be used to help and benefit others to harm and hurt animals, it's awful. And, like, I just cannot imagine giving birth to a child and raising it just for it to act like that. I don't know what step went wrong in the parenting of those children, or if that's what their parents believe in, but that horrifies me, of having children and of becoming friends with people. Because if you don't hear that and immediately think that's the most awful thing I've heard on planet Earth, no. I feel like I'm going in loops, but if you've heard about that and it really bothers you, I hope you know you're not alone. I hear you. And I just think there's so many steps that can be taken to help animals. And I really, really hope that there's a spark and change. And sometimes I understand, like, it can make you feel hopeless seeing this and being like, what the hell can I do? I hope you know there are so many things that you can do, and your voice holds power. Next, This is very much so a vibe switch. I think it's needed though. Rest in peace to that dog, whose name I cannot say. I'm gonna look up the name. Hold on one sec. Orhea? Orhea. I think that's how you say it. I hope that dog feels so much peace. And I'm sorry, my tone this entire time I've been speaking sounds dead face. Whenever I get really upset, that's how I speak. If I'm not having a mental breakdown, which you don't want to see. Okay. I'm going to move on to something else now. I don't know if you remember from a few weeks ago, I was quite upset about how I let them borrow my computer charger and they did not give it back because somebody took it. Well, today she pulled me aside and she was like, "Hi, I just want to say I'm so sorry. I've been so busy." And she was like, I haven't been at school." And I was like, "It's okay. It's okay." What was that? Freaking creaking in my room. It's probably my cat. Every time I hear any buzzing in my room after this whole wasp debacle, I'm freaked out. I literally just exhaled into my hand and I thought it was a wasp coming to get me. Knock on wood. Anywho. Should I knock on wood for that? Yeah, I should. Okay. Anyhow, so I'm it's okay, because, the tech people already gave me another one, so I'm and she was like, "I can give you mine," and I was like, "It's okay, we all make mistakes," and she was like, "I can totally pay for it if they charged you," and I was like, "Thank you so much for saying that, because $95 for a charge, or $90 for a charger is crazy." But I just really appreciated how she apologized and, made a point of saying, this isn't who I am as a person, because I have to be so honest, I completely thought that's who she was as a person. And so I just think that really made me happy. And she was like, "Thank you for being so nice about it." And I was like, It did cost me the entirety of my mental sanity for 2 days. And I don't think I ever want to do that again. That definitely taught me a lesson about giving my stuff to other people. However, I do really appreciate that she was she apologized. I love it whenever people are that shows me that she's not what she did, and I knew she wasn't what she did. That it's just nice to have something where I'm yeah. Also, it just kind of makes me it's considerate, and there's nothing I love more than people who are considerate, because being a considerate person is, and I say this because I feel every time I do something, I consider almost every single point of view and almost every single outcome, and I literally always try my hardest to make sure I'm not intentionally causing other people harm or making their life harder or just being a mean person. And whenever I see that people do that, it's oh, it's just really nice, and I appreciated that. And so she like I said, whenever I was I don't like her very much because she took my shit and did not give it back. Well, I gave it to her and she did not give it back. And I said that knowing she's not what she did. Also, perception is reality, and if that's the only interaction I've had with her, well, if that's the most prominent reaction or interaction I've had with her, then it's reasonable for me to believe that, in my mind, that's who she is. Not saying yeah, I was upset about that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just really appreciated how she apologized, and I think that says a lot about her character. And yeah, So if she's watching this, thanks, girl. You're the best. Okay. Well, I don't really know you, but thank you for doing that. That was great. Okay. Bye, y'all. I hope you enjoyed this emotional freaking roller coaster. Okay, this is a video to commemorate how much I love girlhood. So I was just at Chipotle, and one of the employees like complimented my shirt, and she goes, "I can never pull it off though." And I was like, she goes, "I love your shirt, by the way." And I was like, "Thank you." And she was like, "I can never pull it off, but I love it on you." I was like, "Thank you so much." And then later, after she was done like packing my bowl, she goes like, or I said, "You could totally pull off my shirt, by the way." And she was like, "I like more of a tomboy style." And I was like, "Yeah, no, I get that." And she was like, "I like baggy clothes." And I was like, she was like, "But it looks so good on you." And she put a smiley face on my bowl. She's so sweet. And then also yesterday, I'm on my walk, right? And this car drives up, because I was like walking next to a stop sign, and they go, "You cute and bad," or "You bad and cute." And I was like, me? But like, I think a lot of the time my face says something different than what I'm thinking, just because I don't want to get followed home. So I'm like on the phone with my mom, and I'm like, "Hold on," and I'm like looking, and I'm like, and then I was like, I think I smiled. I don't remember what happened, but I was like, "Thank y'all." But also, I wasn't gonna be like, "Stop," like, "Thank you," because girl, I don't know, I greatly fear people. But I appreciated it. But like, and I was also watching Zara Larson videos earlier. I just love girlhood. It's such a blast. And like, especially like getting ready for events, or going to the beach and tanning, or tanning before a dinner and then getting ready for a dinner. Those are my favorite things ever. Especially whenever you're like listening to music, or you're on vacation. My favorite things. Yum, yum, yum. And I'm gonna eat it. But yeah, I love nice people. Hi everyone, we're in a different spot at the moment, just because I feel like standing. It's also probably because I just drank part of my friend's coffee. It's like 4 p.m. I don't know why I did that, but I did, and so now I'm like pumped. I also already did all my homework for tomorrow, and since it's almost spring break, I don't have very much to do. I had a math quiz today. It could have gone better. Also, here's my outfit, and I wore some brown boots. I love this dress. I felt so cutesy throughout the day, even though throughout the day I was also like, "Get me out of here." Oh, also, I think my cat's been licking my toothbrush. Lovely. But I talked to my college counselor yesterday, and I just want to talk about some notes from it. Number one, I realized I was going to the bathroom today. I forgot to tell him about y'all. I feel like that might be something that's useful, but I want to tell him in person. But the next time I'm meeting with him, I think my mom's gonna be there, so I'm just gonna go find him. I'm gonna go like lurk outside his office, say, "I have something to tell you. We need to close the door." Not that I'm embarrassed of it on my YouTube channel. It's more of, I mean, I don't necessarily have to close the door, actually. It can stay open. They can know. I'm okay with that. Moving on. I'm gonna sit down now. I talked about just like college options, and I realized, like, I think like it unearthed something that was going on in my mind that I didn't even know was there until like we talked about it. But I just really feel like what I expect from myself is like to go to like a prestigious university, I guess. And not that like I want to go to like the top of the top of the top, but what I want isn't what the top of the top of the top is gonna get me. And I think especially since I was raised like being told like, shoot for the stars, go higher, go higher, go higher. I feel like talking to him, I was like, this is what I want, but it just feels wrong to me to do this, because I made the choice in 7th grade. I was like, I'm not gonna kill myself for grades anymore. It's not worth it. my entire self-worth just felt wrapped around my grades and my performance. And I was like, I can't hate myself because I didn't get exactly what I wanted in this class. I can't live like this. Not that I don't care about school, it's just distancing who I am from my grades. The problem with doing that is now I'm starting to be like, was it worth it? Was it worth it? Should I have just killed myself for the A? Should I have slowed down? Should I have not burnt myself out? And I feel like once I start asking myself those questions, that's whenever I just need to go, we need to reflect. Because I think, like, as he's supposed to do, my college counselor, if you're watching this, hey, he looks at things from like an analytical standpoint. And I think also he sees what I'm saying, but it's more of he's concerned about, like, he's gonna tell me how it is, and that's exactly what I want. The problem is, even though I want that, there's also things that I might not want to hear. Like, and I know that, like, some colleges are gonna look at my transcript and be like, no, her grades aren't high enough. No, she didn't take as many classes as I want to. And that's why I need to be looked at like I'm a person and not just like I'm a transcript. And being so real, I know saying that, like, these people are looking through like hundreds of transcripts every single day, so I'm sure they're not like, this one is so important, let me look at this one. What I need to more of is to just kind of be seen for who I am, I guess. Because I mean, my transcript, it's not going to say how much I sacrificed to get that B+ in that class, which is going to happen this year. I'm not going to lie to myself and say that I'm going to get straight A's, because that's not true. That's not true. Pre-cal advanced, or advanced pre-cal, it's not going to be an A. And that's something that I feel like I've had to become okay with, but I always feel like I could have done more. I could have tried harder. While I also think this is all I have to give today. If I give my all for this, I'm not going to be able to go home and focus on the things that are important for me. I'm not going to be able to be a human being. I'm just going to feel like a pre-cal machine. And that's not what I am, because at school you can't just be a pre-cal machine. You have to be a pre-cal machine. You have to be a history machine. You have to be a science machine. You have to, like, and so once you make that choice, it's like, it's not just one thing you have to focus on, it's everything. And then that's whenever it gets to a point where, like, you aren't living, you're just trying to get A's, or A+, I guess. And that's not what I wanted for myself. And as much as I'm trying to find the balance of living my life, but also challenging myself academically. And I feel like I'm doing that perfectly now. But what's upsetting me is I'm like looking and I'm like, that's not exactly what I want. That's not exactly what I want. But I just feel like I need to be more grateful for everything I have, all I've experienced this year, because I've done so much stuff that I wanted to do for so long. And I'm trying so hard to be grateful for that, but I just can't help but feel disappointed in myself for not doing every single thing, like for not doing everything perfectly. And that's who I am as a person. And I don't think my transcript shows that, because you'll see that, I mean, obviously I challenged myself by going to a harder school, but what I'm worried about is that people are going to look at that and they're going to go, oh, why did she do that? But also, that's whenever I ask myself, do I want to go somewhere where they don't understand that I wanted to challenge myself and see what I can do, and also like try new things while also trying to be reasonable? Because that's an insanely hard thing to do. That's so hard to do. And I think it's really rough because nobody knows how difficult it is to do because they haven't done it. It is insanely difficult to leave the entirety of 8 years of history behind and start anew your junior year, the hardest year in high school, at a harder school. It's not easy. It's not easy socially. And I say not easy socially. I came in with one of my longest friends going to my school, and I still struggled a little bit. And so that makes me wonder, the people who came in and like they might have come from a more rigorous school, but it's so difficult. And also, like, people tell me, like, you don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do that, but it's also, they don't know what holes I have, because there are different things that you've learned. Literally, I see this as like basically a preemptive college experience for me. And I say that lightly, but also, I mean, I went to a new place. It's like if I went to college that was right next to my house.
And that's what I wanted. I wanted to be challenged. I wanted to meet new people. I wanted to choose my own outfits. I wanted to try new stuff. And so I can't complain and say, oh, this is so hard, this is so difficult. But also, I need to let myself be upset, because I have a very bad habit of saying, like, no, you can't be upset about this, you chose it. And it's okay to just be like, I'm upset. I don't want to do this right now. In saying that, I know that, oh my God, there's a child screaming outside my window. Girl, these kids playing in the street, I swear. Anywho, as I was, not saying, like, okay, moving on. But in saying that, sometimes saying, I can't do this right now, that also comes with the territory of not doing your best, or not your best, but not doing the best, because there's my best and then there's the best. And those are different things, and I measure them differently, and it's upsetting to have to explain it because it makes sense to me, but it doesn't make sense to outsiders. Okay. Oh, I need to close my window. Hold on. It's too loud out there. It's too loud. Anywho. It's hard to toe the line between, like, because also whenever I say my grades don't reflect everything I am, I also think this channel reflects who I am, but also in part because this obviously isn't how I am around other people, because it's just me. I also think this is not when I'm most myself, but this is like my most, it's like a control group, I guess. It's like how I am whenever nobody's around, I guess. But also, I don't usually, that's a lie, I do talk to myself whenever nobody's around, because why would I not do that? Like, if I lived alone, I would totally talk to myself, or else I just wouldn't speak, and that's crazy. It's who I am when nobody's watching, I guess. But technically, y'all are watching. I hope you get what I'm saying. This reflects, like, my personality and my values and how I think. Also, I mean, I know my essays are part of it. Also, extracurriculars. I need to make a list of all the extracurriculars I do, because I always forget. But I do, I mean, this is in school, but I'm in entrepreneurship. Content creation. Also, hold on, my mom's calling me. Okay, I'm back. So, as I was saying, my Instagram, that's also, I see my Instagram as how I present myself. Like, the photos I post, each thing, like, oh, I've talked about this before, has like a specific meaning. Each song has a specific meaning. There's such a deeper meaning in my Instagram. And if somebody ever comes up to me, wait, I'm posting this publicly. I'm not, never mind. Anywho. So transcript, not really. I feel like this really shows who I am and shows what I value. Instagram, how I present myself to other people. TikTok, oh God, please don't base me off my TikTok. My TikTok is like who I am with my friends. And also kind of just who I am as a person. Also, the things I participate in, but also just who I am as a person. Just what I value and what I see in, like, living. And by living, I mean just being myself. Like, I feel like that's mostly me being me. And that made no sense. My cat's trying to bust down my door. The way I see myself is who I am whenever I'm really happy. And a majority of the time whenever I'm really happy, I'm either dancing, I'm in nature, or I'm talking, or I'm listening to music. And I feel like those are the core parts of my being that you can't understand because you're not me. And I don't know how to, like, I feel like you might see it while I speak, but I don't know how to put that on a paper and show it to people. And so I'm probably not going to. I really want to do something creative to be like, I'm here. Beyonce. Watch me write a song. But I also think my essays are really good, like, point of reference for this. And also, I just think there's so many things that make you you, and it's so hard to encapsulate all of that. Oh wait, my brother's gonna hear me. Anywho, what was I saying? Oh, there's so many things that make you who you are, and that's truly what I believe. And I feel like it's like I say that and it just sounds like, I feel like some people are gonna say that just sounds like a cheap bumper sticker. But also, whenever I speak, like, you have to listen what I'm saying. I can't get through to somebody who doesn't care about what I'm saying. Like, it just, like, if you're not trying to understand me, then we're just gonna be on two completely, you're gonna be like, what the hell are you saying? I'm gonna be like, well, now I don't know because you're not listening. It gets confusing. But the point I'm trying to make is, am I perfect by certain standards? Heck no. I need to figure out what I'm saying. So you're gonna help me figure out what I'm saying. I'm not perfect on paper. I also think whenever if somebody who is literally perfect is what you want, probably not the one you're looking for. That also depends on how you define perfect. Let me say what I am. I'm somebody who will work my hardest with what I'm given. My college counselor called me scrappy the other day, and I was like, wow. I'm kind of, I don't know, I felt offended by that, and then I was talking to one of my friends about it, and I was like, wait, that's low-key a compliment. I will always do what I say I'm gonna do. I will work my hardest with what I have to do what I say I'm gonna do. I will make things happen. I will try my best in every single way. I will be honest with what I say and what I do. And I will, like, I'll be there. I'll be somebody who can be depended on, I'll be a leader. I will lead others. I'm a very good example to follow. And I say that, and I don't want it to sound like I'm a very good example. What I mean by that is, like I said, I do what I say I'm gonna do. I listen. I try my best. I show up. I have pretty good grades. I'm also good at giving advice and good at seeing different perspectives. And that's something that you can't, like, that's not a skill everyone has. That's also, and not saying that that skill is more valuable than others, just saying, like, I am able to empathize with literally almost anyone, and I will always try my best to not gang up on somebody. And I also acknowledge what privilege and what power I have in every situation I go into. And that's what I want to say, but I also, like, saying that, I feel like I can't give that to you if that's not what you want or if that's not what you care about. And I think those are also such valuable skills, and it's not easy to be like, this is what I have to give you, and know that that might come with a slap to the face saying, like, I don't want that. I also know that I'm doing the exact same thing whenever I'm looking for colleges. I look at stuff and I can say, I know I don't want that. I know I don't want that. I know I don't want that. And so it's also just a matter of vetting and figuring out where I want to go, and also them vetting and figuring out who they want, which is really hard whenever it's just a sea of people. And that's how I feel too. So it's like we're in the same boat, just on opposite sides. I think there's also things that I do that I don't even realize that I do. But I just don't like being like, this is what I have to offer, because I don't like the idea of getting told that's not good enough for me, or that's not what I want. And that's gonna happen. And it's like, I'm okay with it, but I'm also not. My head's okay with it, my heart is not. But I mean, I'm very ambitious. There are so many things I want to do. I just need the right tools, and I need for you to look at what I've done and acknowledge that, yes, I have tried so many things, and not very many of them have worked out, honestly. But also, with every single one of those, I've learned where I'm trying to go and what I want and what I need to do. And so every time I make a mistake, there's not a single mistake I've made, that this is excusing math, that I haven't learned from, or that I don't think about, or that I don't remember. Not that I mean, there are obviously tiny mistakes I've made that I don't remember, but a majority of them I worked to learn from, and I remember, and I'm like, this is why I don't do that. I mean, I guess math is a good example for that. I'm just saying that because of my midterm, I don't know what happened on my midterm. I genuinely could not tell you. It was just nothing good. Nothing good. I feel like in changing schools, and I knew this was going to happen. And so I'm not going to say, like, I say this because I feel like people are going to say, you knew it was harder. I did know it was harder. I also feel like seeing that change in my grade, like, the part of me who based my self-worth around my grade is like, get me out of here. But I have to acknowledge, like, this is who I am, and also this is always who I've been. Like, my A pluses at my old school were probably A minuses at my current school, and so it's always been this way. I'm just now seeing it, and it's not fun. I greatly worry that colleges aren't going to recognize the amount of ambition and strength and courage it took to do what I did, and they're not going to understand why I did it. And I just feel like you can try your hardest to make somebody understand, but if they're not listening, they're not going to hear you. And I've already said that in like 10 different fonts, but I'm going to say it again. And I just want to be seen. Just please listen to me. I don't really know. That's all I have to say. I feel like I should say more, but I also feel like I shouldn't. But I'm also really obsessed with my outfit. And I love the fact that, like, my Instagram reflects who I am. Or who I want to present myself as, I guess. Yeah. Go check out my Instagram. You don't know what my Instagram is. I'm dead. Okay.